Hello, hello, YouTube. I wanted to get you guys on first and set us up because we've got a big day planned. And I want to make sure that we are good to go. Hello, hello. Welcome, welcome. Okay, so let's get Instagram on. I brought you on first because, they're my people. And no, everyone's my people. I love everyone. But we have so much to cover today, and I just wanted to make sure we get through it. Okay, let's get our Instagram peeps on. As you can tell, I use another phone for this. I think there is an app to stream across multiple platforms through your laptop. I think it's called either Riverside. I think it's Riverside or StreamYard or Restream.io. I personally haven't looked into it much to see if it's going to work for us. So I just use this. I'm fine with this. Okay. Oh man, sitting on the floors for the birds, but we're here. We're doing it. Okay. Let me pull my notes. Let me not look too crazy. Okay, let me pull my notes and we'll be in business. Today we're talking about why are moms so overwhelmed. I'll be honest, I'm pretty overwhelmed right now. As we get Instagram on and get all this stuff, I wanted to pull my notes together. Okay, welcome, Clarity Hotline to the welcome, clutter-free family to the Clarity Hotline. Yeah, bear with me. Okay, so getting everybody up and running. I'm trying to get comfortable. Yeah, that won't work. Okay, so we're sitting on the floors again today, but I got my notes, so we're okay. Okay, so we're talking about why are moms so overwhelmed? And I'll tell you, I feel pretty overwhelmed right now. I've got a lot to cover with you guys on this call. We're also streaming with our Zoom peeps over in the Zoom room, the exclusive private Zoom room. And this room is where we're going to go more in depth with what we're talking about today. Why are moms so overwhelmed? And we're actually going to workshop some of your overwhelm. We're going to workshop it away. And so some people are in our Zoom room. Hello, Zoom room. So I'm looking everywhere. Okay. So just bear with me between my notes and each camera. Anyway, so because we're going to get through a lot today. It's going to be great. But anyway, like I was saying, so I'm feeling a little overwhelmed because I've got this going on. I'm in my own virtual cockpit here, and we've got a lot to cover. I also am getting ready to head out of town for the weekend. I am thinking about the boys and getting the boys because they're homeschooled. So getting my mom set up to cover for them or with them, cover me with them. And so my oldest was in class. He's done now. So then it's lunch. And so mom's got lunch. She's handling them while I'm on our call today. So this is how it works. And I'll let you know, this little sticker my son put on me says winner. Okay. So that was put on me. I didn't even ask for one. He wanted to give me one, and I will take all the encouragement I can get. Okay. So this stays. Okay. This says winner. But okay, let's just get into it first with a deep breath. Big inhale, big exhale. Big inhale, big, long exhale. And just as you exhale and everything just starts to deflate, let everything fall. All the tension just melt away. Let the breath take it away. Okay. Anyway, my overwhelm, as I was just saying, as you're breathing and coming into the space and welcoming yourself into this moment for clarity, Um, I will say that my overwhelm looks different than your overwhelm, I'm sure, right? Where when you feel overwhelmed, it's probably not the same as me. All the contextuals, everything, all the elements that make me in my overwhelmed state overwhelmed, right? As a mom, as a entrepreneur, as a human, as an adult in this world, this day and age, need we say more? Like with this level of I don't know, depending on where you are, and your perspective, what you consider tumultuous and rocky financial situation, right? So, you might be looking at your finances. You might be looking at the end of your goals and what you wanted to achieve by the end of the year. And if you're on track, right? Are you pacing toward those in a way that feels like, okay, we're getting somewhere? Me personally, I am confident I will look completely different in 6 months, and not look, but like in every way, in every sense of the word, look and feel different. And yeah, I because I know what I'm setting myself up for, as far as my goals and what I'm heading toward and how disciplined and diligent I am on that path. And so, yeah, so that's where we are. And I think you do too, right? You have goals for the year, you have goals for your kids, you know what you want to accomplish. And it's just a matter of putting things in place so that you can get it all done. And that is exactly what we're talking about today. So I'm just honestly, let me just cut to the chase, okay? We're not gonna beat around the bush. Motherhood is a beast. It is an absolute beast. It is definitely the hardest job I've had ever, 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 ever. And partly, mostly because it's all consuming and it demands all parts of me, right? Motherhood. And nothing's predictable as a mom. You don't know what's going to happen one day to the next. You can kind of lay out your plan and your agenda and what you'd like to have happen, and that could go completely out the window. And if you're flexible, then you can make that work. It's still overwhelming. Like, okay, what do we have to change? How do I have to stack the day now? Who's sick? What do they need? So that kind of thing, right? And then if you're not flexible, then it's overwhelming in a different way. It's overwhelming because, oh, I didn't prepare for this to go wrong or different. I didn't prepare for you to have to be homesick. And the big thing about um, motherhood and managing motherhood in a way that feels like this is the mother I want to be, it all comes down to systems. Okay. It is chaotic without systems. We know that. And we're just talking about motherhood, not even entrepreneurship yet. Like we haven't even gotten there, but that also, depending on where you are in business, at what stage of business, can be very unpredictable as well. And but it could be very rewarding, right? Both of these jobs can be very rewarding. And I call them jobs because they're duties, right? They're responsibilities. They're things we're passionate of. They're things that we put our whole heart and soul into. So we are rising, right, to the challenge of doing our job in this, rising in our role as mother and entrepreneur. And so, um, that is important to know. And the way we work with this and become more on the flexible side of things to where a day that has completely gone out of plan is still enjoyable. The way we would make that happen is to know your priorities. Because when we know our priorities, we always know what to say no to, right? We always say, okay, well, this can get thrown out. It's kind of like when you see in movies where the boss comes in and tells the assistant, uh, cancel my plans for the rest of the day, and just like that, because their priority is whatever they want to do, whatever they decide. And they know their priority as CEO. So they can walk in and cancel the rest of their day because they got to go to the doctors. They have to just take a self care personal day, and they can. And nothing is more important than me as CEO, right? Nothing is more important than me as matriarch operating in the role as mom, right? In doing the things that I signed up to be responsible for, right? And that everybody knows I'm responsible for, right? That are relying on me to follow through on. See how it all kind of there's context. There's depth and texture to this idea of mother and entrepreneur. And when you're both, it really gets rocky, right? If you don't have systems. But we know our kids come first. So that's always going to feel top of mind. They're always going to be, like I said, it's all consuming. They're always going to be just right there, front and center in your thoughts, because everything really is contingent on, are they taken care of? What do I have to do for them? What do they need from me? Who's getting picked up first? Who's getting dropped off first? That kind of thing. It's just, there's logistics and emotions, right? Very much hand in hand. So when the kids come first, what happens to everything else? What happens to your relationship with yourself? What happens to the relationship with your partner? What happens to the relationship with your clients, your friends, your family, all the things? That's what we're talking about today. So thanks for joining me, and let's answer the question: why are moms so overwhelmed? And we talked already, that there's a job to do for both mom and entrepreneur. We've got these heavy lifts in so many parts of our day that it could get overwhelming really fast to where it feels, and depending on how it mounts up, it can feel impossible. And by the way, this is very interactive. If you have any questions, I'm going to be going back and forth. If you have any questions for me, please answer. If you are watching the replay, please ask questions. I always take it upon myself to look at comments and answer and be involved. And so this is very interactive. And obviously, you on Zoom know that we're going to have an extended version of this hotline, and we're going to workshop through some of your overwhelm, and create some systems, because no one person's systems look the same. No one mom is the same. No one family is the same. No one household is the same. No one's marriage is the same. No one's unique interests and hobbies and priorities and personalities and passions are the same. And so yours is very much going to look different than mine. So the systems that I put in place, I've got to build it around what I know to be true for me and what I believe is possible. So there's very much the nuance and the foundation of mindset. If you didn't hear it, the subtle little way that I explain that, you'll know. You'll probably not see that where mindset is, but that's what we're going to get into today. So let's do it. I come from a world, if you're new to me, so I'm Yvette, the declutterist. I am a mindset coach. I've coached business, marketing, thousands of clients through my coaching work as a business coach, and then also through my book, The Declutter Code. And so my book, The Declutter Code, is about decluttering from the inside out. It talks about 10 simple steps to clarity. And so this is that is absolutely the philosophy that I base everything on. And so when we work together, then you will see that I approach things in a way that you probably have never had anybody approach with you. And it's all in an effort for you to see really the root cause of the clutter you see and the clutter you don't see. So the beliefs, the limiting beliefs, the lack, the limitation, the scarcity thoughts that keep you stuck, playing small, stuck in fear, just stuck in life, right? Feeling like you're going nowhere, all of those things, truly. And when you apply this kind of idea of decluttering from the inside out to your business, then you're very much creating a lean, sustainable, flexible, work around my life and how I want to live as a mother kind of a business. So I've been doing this. I've been an entrepreneur for over 22 years now. I've been a mom for 6 years, a little under 6 years. And I am, yeah, now predominantly coaching entrepreneur moms like myself. So I'm with my fellow entrepreneur moms in the trenches, and we are getting our systems dialed in. And yeah, I mean, in my time, I've done so many things as an entrepreneur. Um, not only just consulted big businesses and Fortune 500 companies, but also I wrote a book, had a blog, podcast, or still have a blog, and had two boys, got married, had two boys, now going through divorce. So things are, a lot has happened since then. And I will be the first to tell you I'm not perfect in any way, but I definitely am sharing what's working for me to get through um, the road of life, right? That I'm experiencing. So what works for me won't necessarily work for you, but this is the point. This is the point that I want to drive home. It never will. Nobody's system will ever work for you the way, unless you make it work for you, unless you implement their system. So if it is, a system that you want to um, work with, say you got a course on something, social media, or how to scale your business, how to price your offer for 10K months, things like that, then you're taking a course, but ultimately going to have to translate the resources and the tools and the knowledge bank into what works for you. You're going to absolutely have to morph that and make it fit into your mold of life, not the other way around. You're not going to want to aspire towards somebody else's version of success. You absolutely want to first know yours and then move in the direction of your own success. And then taking all these tools and resources along with you, right? So using all that, but it's not going to look like anybody else's is my point. And I will say that is probably uh, the second biggest revelation that I've had since being an entrepreneur. It's that, to make sure it's yours that you are building. It's got to be yours, or it will feel miserable. And you're going to find yourself, you're going to wake up one morning and be like, I am absolutely lost and miserable. And this is not the life I've designed for myself. I don't know what happened along the way. How am I living this life? How am I waking up every day to this? What did I do? What did I say yes to? What did I say no to along the way, that where I find myself here? So there are going to be those days when you are losing yourself along the way, right? Not being true to yourself, not being authentic as you pursue the goals in life. And there's a way to do it while protecting relationships. There's a way to do it while protecting things that matter most, like relationships. I will say that again, because I think when it comes down to, career, um, family, uh, what other type of relationships, your team, people under you, people you manage, you supervise, people above you, right? There's a level of wanting to preserve that relationship, and possibly, depending on, the degree to which you do this, people pleasing. So you're people pleasing your way to, um, you know, a life that doesn't look like yours, versus being very much attuned to what you want, your ultimate goal in life, right? How to live, how to be, how to feel every day. Uh, you're inching away from that the more you are pleasing other people. And then you're closer to that, the less it is about other people and more about the inner validation and the self confidence that you have within yourself. So, very, very, I know, sounds convoluted, but that is the name of the game here. I just know that what happens with a lot of clients is that, or so people I've worked with, what happens is that they're scared to want, because they don't want to leave anyone behind. Obviously, we don't want to leave our kids behind. We don't want to leave our partners behind. We don't want to um, grow into an idea or a level of success that we haven't fully fleshed out, or or really fully vetted, right? This idea of this is the success I want, and how does that impact my family? If you don't have clarity around that, then you're going to be fearful of achieving that level of success. You want to make sure that success brings along with it everything you intend for your life. So, of course, you want your kids in tow. Come on, come with me. You're with me in this. I'm bringing you with me, right? Of course, you want your partner. Of course, you want your mom and dad for as long as you can have them, right? Your siblings. Of course, you want a great team, teammates, colleagues, partners. You want them to come with you, right? And so there is that depth of clarity on all those things and all those areas of life that you want to have as you start to move toward the vision of your dream life. And so they're scared to want, and so they're scared to leave behind the people. And so they don't strive for more, but yet they want and desire more. So you can see that there's a lot of inner turmoil with something like that when you're not clear, when you don't have clarity. This is why mindset is so, so, so key. And this is why my book is called The 10 Simple Steps to Clarity, because I believe clarity is enlightenment. Clarity is self actualization. If you're looking at Maslow's hierarchy of needs, the top um, tier of desire, right? What we want for ourselves, what we ultimately want in this lifetime, and why we're here, what we're doing here. Why are we here? What's the meaning of life? It's ultimately to, I believe, aspire and ascend beyond the fears that keep us back, that hold us back. And so this brings me to my first major revelation, the ultimate revelation I made for myself about business is that the number one barrier to entry in entrepreneurship is self-doubt. So the number one barrier to entry in entrepreneurship is self-doubt. And this has been corroborated over and over and over again in my own self-inquiry and that of my clients. Seeing my clients, seeing the customers, people I've worked with, colleagues, so people I've been around in company with, right? I have seen that same thing happen. And so as we talk about that, we talk about systems today, we have to know that what you believe to be true about yourself is always the starting point, is always the foundation. And it takes some diving into yourself, some introspection to discover what that is, you know and trust me, this is I want to reveal something very, very special and near and dear to my heart at the end of this call, a way to work with me. And I will say that this is a lifetime labor of love, you know and it has its iterations because I work very much with private clients one-on-one. And then this idea of being in a group setting where everybody gets to benefit from everybody's ascension is not new, but in this particular way, the way we're coming at ascending in your own life beyond fear and scarcity, lack and doubt. This is taking on a new shape because the climate that we're in. So this day and age that we're in, it's going to take on kind of new shape, new form as we, work on where we're at in life and what we need. And because we're aging, we have more responsibilities and we've got a family, to look after. And so all of this stuff factors into the systems that you implement in your life. Okay. And the simplest systems win. Okay. So let me preface. And we want systems. So let's just talk about the criteria here. We want them to be simple to implement, especially as a mom and entrepreneur. We also want systems that support you living the life that you want to live right now. Support you living the life that you want to live right now. Not 10 years from now. You're not buying clothes for the you that loses 30 pounds. No, you're buying clothes that you feel and look good in today. Okay. The dressing that future version of you or hanging on to the stuff that used to fit and doesn't anymore is weighing you down. Okay. And that's just clothes, right? That's just clutter, stuff, things. Imagine beliefs, behaviors, habits, right? That would have to be unlearned um, and let go of in order for you to feel good now and to dress good and feel good now. And I just said dress because I'm to stick with that analogy, but ultimately, like to do what you want to do that feels good, to live a life that feels good, to have everything flowing to you that feels good. And it's like, wow, I designed this life, full intention. I am um, clear on what I want, and look at this. Wow. I'm grateful for it all. I'm grateful for everything that's happening because I know it's all working toward um, my enlightenment, my betterment, my growth, my development as a human, as a person, as a mom, as an entrepreneur. Everything goes with that flow, right? Everything rises, right? The tide rises all ships. Like the tide of, I'm not even a collective consciousness, because it absolutely starts with you for you to find your collective, your personal inner consciousness, your knowing, your inner knowing always begets your, what do I want to say? Your world, right? The people you surround yourself with, your environment. It starts from within. So from the inside out. Okay. And we're going to do a quick exercise because what 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 underlies a system that works well and in flow is easy to implement is it always, what underlies that is priorities. So you want to know your priorities. So I want you to, if you can, close your eyes. Okay. Be uninterrupted for just 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Okay. 2 minutes. Okay. If you're going to be interrupted and your mind's going to wander off, 5 minutes. Okay. Give yourself this time to close your eyes and think and dream and just use a crayon in your mind to draw up your dream life. Okay. And this is one iota of a bigger like visualization that I take my clients through. But this one's very important. This, at least this initial part. But this is what we're going to do. We're going to close our eyes. And I just want you to dream, if you can focus on just dreaming up your ideal life that you want to live. Okay. Close your eyes if you can. Ultimately, hopefully you can. Close your eyes. Don't skip this part. Come back to the replay. But ultimately, this is the meat and the potatoes of mindset work, is to know, what does that look like? What does it feel like? Taste it, touch it, see it, smell it, hear it, listen to life happening around you when you close your eyes. So you're closing your eyes right now. You're thinking of a day. Let's give it some room. Let's give it some space. You're thinking of a day in the life, your life, 10 years from now. Okay. You are experiencing the smells, the sights, the sounds, the textures, the people who you're with, the day the day that how it unfolds. You are experiencing, all your meals, breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacking in between, coffee here and there, meeting up with friends. What are you doing? Where are you going? What are you eating? How does it taste? Uh, who's with you when you go home, when you're out and about? What car are you driving? What house are you pulling up to at the end of the day, driving into, walking into? How does this all play out? Do you have a driveway? Do you have a garage? Do you have to walk from your garage into the open air to get into the house, or is it attached? Um, do you have to walk upstairs to your master bedroom? Or is it a single story? I mean, these are the details, right, that you'd want to get into, and for nothing else but to excite your body, to excite it, inspire you to wake everything up. Everything's got to awaken to this vision. Okay. So if you've done that and you see it, okay, you've done the work. You can open your eyes. If you want to spend a little bit more time on this, and I'm not even saying journal, break out the journal. No, you don't even need to do that. Just close your eyes and visualize. Okay. That's all I'm suggesting today. Okay. Simple enough. Even just 2 minutes, close your eyes and see it. Really like a snapshot. See a snapshot. If you've got a vision board, even better. If you've done the work already and you've got a vision board, imagine looking at your vision board and closing your eyes and seeing your vision board. You've soaked it up. You are seeing it. You are acknowledging it. You are embodying it. And you're letting the vision, the visual, right, ignite and alight your body. You're embodying the vision as well, right? You're letting all you want to feel all the feels of this vision. Okay. So you're connecting mind with body, belief and behavior when you do that. That simple action. Imagine if you did that so often that your body is walking in the identity of already having that. Now we're talking manifestation. You're walking every day as already having what's on your vision board because ultimately you feel the way it feels to have it now. And so see how that just ignites and inspires you to move accordingly, to behave accordingly. You wouldn't do things that would take away from you having that life. You just wouldn't. There would just be, it would be physically impossible for you to move in the direction um, out of alignment with what you want to have. You would feel like, oh my gosh, this is uncomfortable. What am I doing? It wouldn't feel like this is for me. And I can walk and face the fear. I can feel the fear and do it anyway. That is when you know. Okay. That is when you know, when you feel the fear and you can do it anyway. When you choose to face the fear and do it anyway, that is when you know. So you have that foundation, right, of that vision, and the longer you spend on that vision and getting all in the nooks and crannies of your life, the better. But now we want to, on top of that, put some systems in place. Okay, so we've got the systems of a mom, of a mother. So she's got the morning rhythm, right? The morning routine. If you're in the homeschooling space, it might be called morning basket. The way your day unfolds, and even the way your day unfolds before the kids are awake, before the house is awake, before your partner's awake. You've got the morning rhythm. You've got meal planning, right? So you're constantly in your head about the next meal if you haven't prepped, right? The week ahead or whatever. You've got the household reset or the tidy up, right? The family calendar. So how are you guys communicating on things that are happening in everybody's world and making it all happen, logistically speaking, right? Budget, financial, right? That kind of those systems. How are you paying your bills? How are you investing? What are your summer plans? Vacation, right? What's that look like? Self-care and time off, legitimate rest. Okay, what does that look like? That's actually a system. Did you know that? Did you know implementing a system for your self-care and taking care of yourself is actually part of the process? So, don't forget that. Uh, let's see what else for systems for moms. Support systems, obviously childcare, right? That's a big one. Who's supporting you and getting all this done? If you've got a nanny, if you've got a house cleaner, if you've got what else? Somebody to pick up and you're using Instant Cart for your groceries. You are on a subscription plan on Amazon for some of the things that you need. And so they come regularly when you need them, like dish soap, whatever. So anyway, what are your support systems look like? And then what's child autonomy look like? And I call this child autonomy because at some point we start to take the time to educate and teach our kids how to fend for themselves and do for themselves in this life, change their own clothes, go potty, make their beds, make breakfast, pour some cereal and pour the milk, whatever it is that you do, whatever your household has, it's all different. So there's the time for learning and the practicing and then the unleashing. Okay, go out and do it. I saw you do this and you did it well. And so go off, child, and be merry and handle that part of your life. You got that. Okay. And then you can move on to the next thing. They got potty down, they can wipe themselves sufficiently and efficiently and you're comfortable with that and they're clean. Okay, you can do that yourself till the end of time. And then there's discipline. What are we doing here? Are we gentle parenting? Are we present parenting? Yes. Are we parenting like our parents did in the 80s? I mean, what are we doing? What does it look like? Discipline is not punishment. It's not admonishment. It's not shaming. It's not hitting. It's not spanking. Discipline is course correcting, helping kids see how they might fare well in the household, how they might fare well in society, how they might fare well in friendships and relationships, right? As they progress and grow and mature, things like that. And then there's school. What's the school system? What's the structure that you're in for educating your kids on, you know, the categories of life, the subjects of life? Yeah, math, reading, writing, language. I should have said reading, writing, arithmetic. And then ultimately, that underlying all that is, of course, your mindset, your perspective on mothering. And then entrepreneurs have systems as well. They've got content creation. They need the space to create, not just content, but I mean, everything ultimately is content. The content, the curriculum, the courses that you put out is content. Everything from the caption on your social media post is content creation, but ultimately the space to create, the space to get into flow and take an inspired action in your business. That is very important. That's also a system that you want to have: the when, how, and where, right, of your creativity. And then outreach, organic, social, however you want to network, however you want that to happen. Lead gen, so your funnels, right, how leads are coming in and how you're nurturing them, ultimately making a sell. And then sales is a system, so that's kind of where that picks up. What is, your lead gen to your sales system look like? Obviously still here support, to having a team, having a community, having colleagues, referral partners, things like that, affiliates, joint venture partners. How's your time management? That's also a system. So time, what does your time look like? What does your day look like? What are your non-negotiables? What does your business need from you right now? Decision making, team building. And the reason why I paired those is you should not be the only one making decisions in your business. When you start to have a team, you want to give some autonomy to your team. And then there's finances, metrics, analytics, data, basically all that numbers kind of tell you about your business and where it's going, how it's doing. And then company culture, morale, mission, ethics. This might be human resources, a controller in your business that handles human resources, and whatever else they control in your business. You kind of have to think about that, because ultimately, you um, the company culture extends from how you are. And so you want to be very crystal clear on how you want to be, how you want to run business, because your company culture, as you build your empire and your legacy, is going to be built from that. So what underlies this, the mindset here, is basically your perspective on how you do business. How you do business. My main thing, and I would say my mission in life right now, is to help moms redo business, because um, ultimately, when we rethink business, when we rethink how we do business, we can redo business. We can do it in a way that serves us, that doesn't run us to the ground, where we're running our business, not the business running us. The business works with my life and around my life, and very much with my flow that I want to have in my day, in my everyday, in my month, my year. And it's a support to that, right? It's sustainable within me living my best life. That's your perspective on business. So you ultimately want to be leading the way, right? In that regard. And so what makes systems so effective? The only systems that are effective are ones that move with your life, right? That you put in place, and it's very much a system that's working, that's leaving you stress free, a system that leaves you space to be. Um, Systems function without you. You don't need to be there to make it all happen. It's very much automated, right? But then you insert yourself where you need to be. This is part of the system. You are a part of the system. You're not just having an AI avatar go live your life. We're not there yet, nor I don't think that I want to be. But what makes systems, any system, effective are people skills. So we talked at length about relationships. People skills, not people pleasing skills. There's a difference because if you're people pleasing, rewind and watch the beginning of this. Rewind and watch the beginning of this. Um, Relationships are the most important thing, right? Ultimately, in life, we want to enjoy the opportunities that bring us closer to our vision. A lot of that is through the relationships that we build. We're not living on an island. It's very much this inside out operation for sure. How I am within attracts those without to come to me and live a great life, right? Either they are handing me a resource I need, they're my mentor, my coach, or they're a friend along the way to keep me company and be a witness in my life and I for them. And then my kids, right, are part of that. And these are relationships. My partner, who I partner up with in this life, as my kid's dad, who I partner up with in my life for being handy around the house, maintenance around the house, who I partner up with to take care of my kids if I'm going to have a babysitter, right? And how that all looks. And my mom right now is co-parenting with me, I guess, and not really, not really. Um, their dad is for sure just is the co-parent, and we're doing this. I'm just saying my mom is definitely helping me out in a major way. But the solution to making any system work effectively in the people skills department is setting expectations. Okay, not only setting expectations, but setting clear, sorry, not, but clearly communicating those expectations, right? We've got so many people in our lives. I've named quite a few just in this call till now. So many people in our lives that if we're in relationship with them and they're helping us live this life to its fullest, then we are reciprocating, obviously, that behavior of them being a great friend, a great partner, whatever. We're reciprocating that relationship and being a great fill in the blank for them. When you set these expectations for yourself, you also are setting expectations for how the people in your life, your community, the company you keep, how they also are relating to you. So you're setting expectations and then clearly communicate those expectations. Why does it matter? What's so important? Why is this a 10 out of 10 for you? So that I can understand and respect that this is how you want to live, right? And we can kind of come into an alignment, an agreement that we're going to go forward in this way. I'm going to respect that about you. You're going to respect this about me, and we're going to get along like two peas in a pod. That is what we're going to work on later on our Zoom call. So Zoomers, we're going to do this. We're going to look at your expectations, and we're going to dissect that. That's a big thing. And then, what does clear communication around those expectations look like? A lot of moms have a hard time asking for help. A lot of moms have a hard time knowing what to say when it comes to asking for help. A lot of times we have a hard time asking for better help. Help that actually helps us, not you saying, okay, I'm cooking tonight. What do you guys want to eat? No, you take it completely off my plate. Don't ask me where the broom is if your job is to sweep the floors. Don't ask me where the school is if your job today is to pick up the kids. Okay, just come to me with solutions. This is how this is going to work. And then, most importantly, I think a big one about how this all works and how your life and systems are effective and feel very in flow with your life is that you know that what's a time waster and what's a time giver. So, how do you get more done in less time? How do you get done in 1 hour of focused work time more than you would get all day long? if you were just trying to piecemeal your work all day and work from the kitchen counter and work from the kids' bedroom floor as you're, trying to put them to bed, or if you're also trying to, handle emails while your kid's learning to read, it's probably, and this is for the homeschool moms, that's probably not going to work, right? Um, if they're not reading by themselves, they still need you there, right? And you are attuned and aware of that they still need you. They still need you for this kind of thing. So some things aren't going to be feasible with regards to what you do for work when you're with them. So that's very much knowing that will help you not get distracted by the things that don't matter as much. And I did a video on you, so an upload, not a live. So you can look in some of the playlists for the video about setting expectations. There's a video on setting lower expectations. So lightening your load by setting lower expectations for yourself as you're in this transition of new mom, new entrepreneur, new business. For me, divorce, moving out, moving in with my mom, trying to figure out homeschooling with my mom, and or for my sons rather, and my mom, kind of where she can kind of fit in and help me, so that I don't completely disintegrate from doing too much or trying to do too much. So everything's got to kind of adjust. I should say, so I don't completely lose myself in the process, because I need to make time for my non-negotiables too. What's very, very important. So here, what's the solution here? Boundaries. So having boundaries, knowing what to say yes to, because what you say yes to, you're saying no to something else. So knowing your non-negotiables, knowing what's most important, knowing what matters so that you can let what doesn't go. Okay. We're going to work on this too in the Zoom room after this. Okay. So be prepared. If you want to start thinking this stuff up, all my Zoomers, if you want to start thinking this up, and I'm going to get to your questions later. I see the questions. Don't worry. We're going to get to those. But yeah, throw your questions out, but then also maybe be jotting down some of the ideas that you have, because we are going to put some systems in place. Okay. Believe you me. And what else? This is the ultimate way to make a system effective in your life and make it feel like flow, make it feel good, make it feel like an inspired action that you take every day, right? It's part of you feeling sustainable, full of life, enjoying the journey, enjoying motherhood, enjoying being a business owner. This is very much key. Okay. Vision. Do I sound like a broken record? Vision. Why do we need vision? So we closed our eyes earlier. We got our vision. We saw it crystal clear, and it just looked so dreamy. And I was like, oh, yes, I'm so excited. Not that the excitement is, the identifier for when you've nailed your vision, because it's not. Peace is the identifier for when you've nailed your vision. Peace, because you've nailed it so much that your vision is also your reality. It's what you currently live. It's the state you exist in. Okay. Again, more manifestation talk, but ultimately we want to get that crystal clear vision for our lives so that we've got our North Star. And we want to know our North Star, because as we traverse this path, and we're looking at our map and we're following the red line to our North Star, in our GPS is telling us turn by turn, we're going to know, the opportunities to take, the things to say no to. What's the detour? Is this an option? Can I also do this? And, oh, what if I did this? And, you kind of have some live in the moment planning that you get to do, and really experiencing the life as it's unfolding, being very present to this idea. I won't say fact if this isn't what you believe yet. This idea, being open to this idea that whatever's happening, regardless of how it looks and how it might seem, is very much you still on the path to your dreams. And when you take on that perspective, you have clarity. You have clarity to see that this is playing in my favor. This is working, the universe is working on my behalf. This is working out for me. Okay. Uh, you might have caught another couple lives ago where we talked about how Neville Goddard teaches to act as if everything always works out for you. And that is so, so key. It's my new mantra. Everything always works out for me. And when you know that and you're kind of leveling up your identity in alignment with your vision, then that absolutely feels the case. It feels like the case. It is the case, right? And so the unfolding of your life is very much happening in real time, all in an effort to get you to where you want to be. The solution here is clarity. So having that clarity that we worked on at the top of this hour, and also just in everyday moments to find our clarity. So this is a very much like thing that we do on a regular constant basis. It's very much something that you want to be aware of, doing your clarity work, as I call it. So we're coming on our time for all my live viewers. Thank you for being on, by the way. Thanks for coming on Instagram and YouTube. And then for my Zoom room, stay with me. We're going to dive in deep on this. If you want to join me for the next Clarity Hotline Masterclass, where we talk about this type of thing, my simplest systems for success as an entrepreneur mom, and then building your own, then join me for the next Clarity Hotline. And I will I'll put in the description below how to get on my newsletter so that you can be aware of all the times that you can sign up for these free opportunities to work with me, to workshop through some of your overwhelm, some of your burnout, some of the things causing you stress and just holding you back, making you feel stuck, working through that in a sort of clarity session hot seat, so that you can just be like, okay, whew, I'm done with all that. I'm done with all that mayhem. I'm done with all that BS. And I'm done with all that clutter, and I'm letting it go, and I'm moving forward toward a life of my dreams. And anyway, so I'll put all that in the description below so that you can join us next time inside the Zoom room, where we are doing more exclusive work together, and we're working one-on-one together, essentially to get you through what has you stuck. So that's inside the Zoom room. But as we close out here, I mean, so much of the systems that I have right now, what's making it effective for me to be an entrepreneur mom, like I said, I've got my mom's help. So I've got my village. My siblings live close, so I've got their help, and absolutely they've come to the rescue a few times already. Before, when I lived with their dad was help. Right now it's different. So, they'll have a weekend with their dad, and that is part of my system that works for me. We're also starting my youngest back in preschool 3 days a week. And then we are going to have my oldest son in a learning center as part of his homeschooling routine 2 days a week. Actually, 1.5 days a week. So not a full 2 days, and that's okay by me. This is very well intentioned, the stuff that we've got him taking part in as he, advances in his life. And then when I can, I'm pulling my youngest back home. And this is part of my system because, like I said, I'm not perfect. We're still working things. Whatever you think is perfect, I'm not that. I guess I could say that, because I am doing my best perfectly. I am doing my best perfectly. I very much feel like I'm getting my bearings. I'm in the midst of very challenging times for sure. And trust me, I've got my days where it's just like, oh, it's bleak. But man, I've got my systems too that pull me out of the rut for sure. Pull me out 100% of the way, and I'm back into flow. My systems work for me to maintain a life that I am proud to be living. Relationships I'm proud to have, that I'm thriving in, and good friendships, good family. I believe my kids are thriving when I'm most present, when I'm most in tune with myself and what feels to be my truth, because I am their guide in this world. And so these are all part of my systems. And I know it's working when I feel good. I know my systems are working when things are working on my behalf for the betterment of my future, for the betterment of my kids' future, for everyone's betterment, for the highest good of everyone involved in my immediate surroundings, right? That I can witness um, and kind of be influenced by and also influence. I know that my systems are working, right? When all of those things feel very at peace and in alignment with how I want to be living. And what looks ugly, right? I get to remind myself is part of my journey, right? What might look ugly, what's like, "Ugh, didn't quite work out the way that I thought it would." Um, I realize in those moments that I didn't flesh out this part of my life with clarity, right? But when I do have clarity, I'm just seeing that, okay, this is how it looks. This is how it looks in this lifetime. There's nothing to judge as negative when you have clarity. There's nothing to say that "Ah, this didn't work out because what do we know? We shall see. We'll see. You know, give it time. This might be exactly what you need to happen right now so that you are going to be better for it down the road, that you're going to be more girded up in strength and personal resolve and a bond with your kids. You're going to be in a better place mentally, physically, emotionally because you had this happen today. So imagine, right, thinking that way and what a switch that does to your psyche to feel like I got this. I'm good, right? Everything works out for me. The God's at my back. The universe has got me like I am blessed, right? Um I am set up for success, right? So that's what we want to have. So Zoom room, say with me, we're going to make that happen. I'll say bye to all my live viewers. Thanks for coming on live. I will see you next week, 12 noon Pacific, Thursday, right here for the next Clarity Hotline. Submit your question at clarityhotline.com, and I will see you next week. Peace. All right, you too. Thanks for coming on. See you next week. Come on to Zoom.